Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story. A story of a woman who walks through life seemingly without a friend in the world. No one to call on in the middle of the night when life feels too heavy to carry alone. No one to share the little joys with a laugh, a moment of victory, or even a quiet afternoon. But let me ask you, is she truly alone? Or is she simply on a path of deeper self-discovery? You see, we live in a world that values connection, and we are constantly told that we must surround ourselves with people, friends who are there for us, friends who understand us. But what happens when those connections don't seem to exist? What happens when we find ourselves standing alone? I've learned something in my life, that loneliness is not a reflection of our worth. It is simply an invitation to examine what we truly need and who we really are. For some women, the journey begins with an unexpected silence, the absence of friendships that once seemed so important. At first, that silence is deafening, but over time it becomes a space for reflection. A space to understand why we may have closed ourselves off from the world, to discover the wounds that have shaped us, and the walls we've built around our hearts to protect ourselves. Friendship is one of the most valuable bonds in life, offering support, joy, and a sense of belonging. It's more than just companionship. It's about building a deep and meaningful connection with someone who understands, accepts, and values you for who you are. Friendship allows us to experience life in a shared way, making the joys more vibrant and the challenges more bearable. Through friendships, we discover the beauty of trust, the strength of loyalty, and the profound sense of comfort that comes from knowing someone truly cares. It is in these connections that we often find the courage to face our fears, the motivation to pursue our goals, and the assurance that no matter what happens, someone will stand by us. Friendship is not just about having someone to share your laughter with. It's about having someone who sees you in your weakest moments and loves you anyway. It's the quiet phone call in the middle of the night when you're feeling lost, the shared look of understanding across a room, and the unspoken promise that you'll never have to face life alone. These bonds create a sense of security, a foundation on which we can stand when everything else feels unstable. Friendship gives us the freedom to be our authentic selves, because in true friendship, there is no judgment, only acceptance and encouragement. When a woman has no friends, it can feel like a piece of her world is missing. The absence of those meaningful connections can lead to a sense of isolation, of walking through life without the support network that so many take for granted. However, it's essential to recognize that the absence of friendships doesn't diminish a person's value or worth. Sometimes circumstances such as relocation, personal loss, or even self-imposed barriers create a space where friendships do not thrive. Other times, past experiences, betrayals, misunderstandings, or toxic relationships make a woman hesitant to open herself up to others, creating walls that prevent connection. Yet the power of friendship remains undeniable. It reminds us that as humans, we are inherently social beings, wired for connection and community. Friendship has the ability to heal wounds, to help us rediscover joy, and to remind us of our shared humanity. Even when friendships are absent, the possibility of forming new bonds is always present. Every new day holds the potential for connection, whether it's with someone you meet at work, a neighbor who shares a kind word, or even a stranger who becomes a kindred spirit. Understanding the transformative power of friendship is the first step in rekindling our ability to connect. It teaches us that while friendships may not always be easy or perfect, they are worth the effort, the vulnerability, and the time they require. They remind us that life is not meant to be lived in solitude. In embracing the power of friendship, we embrace the profound truth that we are never truly alone. and that the bonds we form with others have the power to shape and enrich our lives in ways we never imagined. Often women without friends have built walls around themselves due to fear of rejection, betrayal, or past hurt. These walls, though intended to protect, can also imprison, keeping others out, but also keeping love, support, and connection at bay. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is an incredible act of courage. It means stepping into uncertainty, exposing your true self, and trusting others to see you as you are. For many, this is a daunting task. The fear of being judged, misunderstood, or hurt again can be paralyzing, creating a barrier to genuine relationships. But the very act of embracing vulnerability is the key to breaking this cycle, as it allows us to connect with others on a deeper, more authentic level. Vulnerability starts with acknowledging your fears and insecurities, looking them in the eye, and deciding that they no longer have control over your life. It is about letting go of perfectionism and the need to appear strong all the time. When a woman can admit that she doesn't have it all together, that she's been hurt, or that she longs for meaningful connection, she takes the first step toward breaking free from isolation. This courage to be honest about her struggles is what opens the door for others to come closer, to offer their support, and to show their own vulnerabilities in return. The journey of embracing vulnerability is not without its challenges. There may be setbacks, misunderstandings, or even moments of rejection. But with each step forward, a woman becomes stronger, not because she is invincible, but because she learns to lean into the discomfort of being seen. Vulnerability is not about oversharing or exposing yourself recklessly. It's about carefully and intentionally sharing pieces of yourself with those who have earned your trust. It's about finding the strength to say, "This is who I am," even when you're unsure of how it will be received. Through vulnerability, a woman begins to dismantle the walls that have kept her isolated and learns that true connection requires risk. She comes to understand that the only way to foster authentic relationships is by being authentic herself. This courage to be vulnerable is not just a gift to others, it is a gift to herself. It is the process through which she learns that she is enough, that her past wounds do not define her, and that her willingness to show up fully is what makes her worthy of love and friendship. Ultimately, the courage to embrace vulnerability is about reclaiming your power. It's about choosing connection over fear, authenticity over pretense, and love over isolation. It's about stepping into the unknown with the belief that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. And in doing so, a woman without friends may have learned to rely heavily on herself. Over time, she may have cultivated an inner strength that allows her to navigate life's challenges independently, finding her way through difficulties without the support of a social circle. This self-reliance is a testament to her resilience and resourcefulness, a reflection of her ability to adapt and survive in a world that doesn't always provide the safety net of companionship. In moments of adversity, she has become her own source of motivation, her own shoulder to lean on, and her own voice of encouragement. While independence is empowering, it often comes from necessity rather than choice. For some, the absence of friendships has required them to grow stronger, to solve problems without external input, and to face their fears alone. This strength can be a powerful asset, as it builds confidence and a deep sense of self-awareness. A woman who relies on herself learns to trust her instincts, to depend on her abilities, and to take pride in her achievements without needing validation from others. She becomes intimately familiar with her own thoughts, emotions, and dreams, creating a relationship with herself that is both enriching and grounding. However, self-reliance, though empowering, can also be isolating if taken to an extreme. When a woman becomes accustomed to handling everything on her own, she may start to believe that seeking help or sharing her burdens is a sign of weakness. In this mindset, while understandable, can prevent her from experiencing the richness of interdependence, the balance between standing strong on her own and leaning on others when needed. True strength lies not only in independence, but in the ability to recognize when connection and collaboration can make the journey lighter and more fulfilling. Self-reliance also offers an opportunity for self-discovery. In the absence of friends, a woman may find herself exploring her interests, passions, and values in a way that is uniquely hers. She has the freedom to shape her identity without external influence, to build a life that reflects her authentic self. This independence can lead to a profound sense of self-respect and a clearer understanding of what she truly wants in her relationships and life. Yet, even as she builds this foundation of strength, it is important for her to acknowledge that self-reliance does not mean she must walk her path alone forever. Balancing independence with interdependence allows her to embrace the support, joy, and companionship that come from sharing her life with others. The strength of self-reliance is a gift, but it is one that can coexist with the beauty of connection, creating a life that is both empowering and deeply connected. Loneliness does not define a person. It's a temporary feeling that can inspire personal growth and transformation. At its core, loneliness is a signal from the heart, a reminder of the innate human need for connection and belonging. While it can be deeply painful, it also provides an opportunity to reflect on what is missing and why. Healing from loneliness begins with acknowledging it not as a flaw or failure, but as a natural emotion that every person experiences at some point in their life. It is through this acknowledgement that the path to healing starts to unfold. Loneliness can often feel like a heavy weight, a persistent ache that seems impossible to shake. It can create a sense of isolation, making a person feel as though they are cut off from the world around them. However, it's important to remember that loneliness is not a permanent state. It is not who you are, but something you are going through. The first step toward healing is understanding that you are not alone in feeling lonely. Millions of people experience it, and many have found ways to move beyond it, to build meaningful connections and a sense of purpose in their lives. Healing from loneliness also requires self-compassion. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism, blaming oneself for the absence of friendships or meaningful relationships. But this mindset only deepens the pain and prevents growth. Instead, practicing kindness toward oneself creates a foundation for healing. It involves recognizing that loneliness is not a reflection of your worth or value, but a sign that your heart is yearning for something more. Another key to healing from loneliness is learning to embrace solitude. While loneliness and solitude may feel similar, they are vastly different. Solitude is the state of being alone, while loneliness is the emotional response to it. By shifting your perspective, solitude can become a time for introspection, creativity, and personal growth. It can be a space to reconnect with yourself, to explore your passions, and to build a life that feels fulfilling on your own terms. This period of self-discovery can empower you to approach relationships from a place of strength and clarity, rather than desperation or neediness. As you heal from loneliness, it's also important to take steps toward connection. This doesn't mean rushing into friendships or forcing relationships. It means opening yourself up to opportunities for connection in ways that feel authentic to you. It might involve joining a group or activity that aligns with your interests, reaching out to someone you admire, or simply smiling at a stranger. Small, meaningful actions can pave the way for deeper connections over time. In today's world, friendships can take many forms, from deep, lifelong bonds to newer, less conventional connections. While traditional ideas of friendship often emphasize shared history, constant interaction, and a network of close-knit companions, the reality is that the definition of friendship is as diverse and evolving as the individuals who create it. Redefining friendship means letting go of rigid expectations and embracing the idea that meaningful relationships can exist in many shapes and sizes. It allows us to shift from focusing on quantity to appreciating the quality and authenticity of the connections we have. True friendship is not defined by how often you see someone or how long you've known them, but by the depth of the bond you share. It's about mutual respect, understanding, and a sense of trust that transcends time and circumstance. Redefining friendship means recognizing that it doesn't have to fit into a specific mold. It could be the neighbor who checks in on you during tough times, the coworker who listens with genuine care, or even someone you meet online who shares your passions and values. These connections, though different from traditional friendships, can still offer support, joy, and a sense of belonging. As we redefine friendship, we also learn to let go of the pressure to maintain relationships that no longer serve us. Not every friendship is meant to last forever, and that's okay. Some friendships are seasonal, offering lessons and companionship during a specific phase of life before naturally fading away. Redefining friendship means honoring those connections for what they were and releasing them without guilt or regret. It's about understanding that growth and change are natural parts of life, and that as we evolve, so too will the relationships we nurture. This redefinition also challenges the notion that friendship must always involve grand gestures or constant communication. Sometimes the most meaningful friendships are those that exist quietly in the background, marked by occasional but heartfelt conversations, or the simple knowledge that someone is there for you no matter the distance or time apart. It allows us to embrace the beauty of low-maintenance friendships, where mutual understanding and acceptance replace the need for frequent contact or validation. Moreover, redefining friendship means valuing the connections we have with ourselves as a foundation for all other relationships. Often we seek external validation or companionship to fill a void within, but true connection starts with self-awareness and self-love. By cultivating a strong relationship with ourselves, we create the space to attract friendships that are genuine and aligned with our values. This shift empowers us to approach relationships with confidence, knowing that we bring as much to the table as we hope to receive. In redefining friendship, we also open our hearts to the idea that connections can come from unexpected places. It's about being open to new experiences and people, whether it's a shared interest, a chance encounter, or a moment of kindness. By broadening our definition of friendship, we allow for the possibility of forming meaningful bonds in ways we may not have imagined before. Ultimately, redefining friendship is about creating a life that feels rich in connection, regardless of societal expectations or traditional norms. It's about valuing the relationships that bring light to our lives, no matter how they came to be or what form they take. In this redefinition, we find freedom, the freedom to build connections that resonate deeply, honor our individuality, and enrich our journey in ways that truly matter. In the end, a woman without friends is not defined by her solitude, but by the strength, courage, and resilience she carries within. This journey of navigating life without a traditional support system offers profound lessons in self-reliance, vulnerability, and the transformative power of connection. It's an opportunity to redefine the meaning of friendship, to heal from loneliness, and to embrace the possibility of meaningful relationships in unexpected places. Friendship begins with the relationship we nurture with ourselves, the foundation for all other connections. By understanding the power of vulnerability, celebrating the strength of independence, and being open to the evolving nature of relationships, a woman can break free from isolation and build bonds that are authentic and fulfilling. This path requires patience, courage, and self-compassion, but it reminds us that every woman has the power to create a life filled with connection, love, and a sense of belonging. To the woman with no friends, know this: your story is not over, You have the power to redefine what friendship means to you. You have the ability to create meaningful connections, to reach out and build relationships that are built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. It's never too late. And remember, true friendship starts within. Once we embrace our own worth, we open the door for others to enter our lives in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. So let's begin today. Let's embrace vulnerability, let's heal from our past, and let's build the friendships that reflect the women we are becoming. Because you, dear woman, are worthy of love, connection, and a life filled with joy, and that starts with the courage to reach out and say, I am ready. Thank you.